Welcome to Furniture Industry News. Today is Monday, April 21st, 2025, and we're diving into the latest updates that are shaping the world of furniture retail and manufacturing. Whether you're in store management, distribution, or product development, this is your go-to podcast for the news that matters in your day-to-day work. Let's get started. First up, Mattress Firm is making a major tech move that could set the tone for inventory management across the furniture industry. They've announced a partnership with Invent.ai to bring artificial intelligence into their supply chain systems. Now, AI in retail isn't exactly a new idea, but what's interesting here is how Mattress Firm is applying it. They're focusing on AI-powered demand forecasting, better inventory replenishment at both store and distribution center levels, and smarter merchandise planning. That's not just back-end upgrades. It could translate into better product availability for customers and fewer supply chain headaches for store teams. With over 2,200 stores across the country, this is no small feat. They're betting that AI will help them reduce waste, increase efficiency, and ultimately respond faster to customer demand. This shift speaks to a broader trend we're seeing across furniture retail. Companies are investing in tech not just for the sake of innovation, but to solve real operational problems. And if Mattress Firm's model works, we may see more chains, big and small, moving in the same direction. Now let's talk about what consumers are doing, because that's just as important as what companies are planning. According to new data, furniture store credit card spending in March was up 1.8% compared to last year. At first glance, that sounds like good news, right? But here's the twist. While spending was up, the number of transactions was actually down by 1.5%. So, what does that tell us? Consumers are being more selective. They're spending more per purchase, but they're not shopping as often. That could be because people are planning bigger purchases, like full living room or bedroom sets, instead of picking up small accent pieces. Or it could be a sign that inflation and financial uncertainty are still weighing on household budgets, prompting shoppers to be cautious and make each purchase count. Either way, it's worth watching. When customers start pulling back on smaller, spontaneous buys, it can affect everything from accessory sales to in-store traffic patterns. Now, let's zoom out a bit and talk about something with much bigger implications: tariffs. Former President Donald Trump is reportedly meeting with the heads of major retailers, including Walmart, Home Depot, Target, and Lowe's, to discuss how new tariffs are impacting their operations. And it's not just a political headline. It could directly affect your pricing, your supply chain, and your bottom line. The tariffs in question include a whopping 145% duty on some Chinese imports. That could dramatically increase the cost of goods coming into the U.S., especially for furniture that relies heavily on materials or manufacturing from Asia. Retailers are understandably concerned. Price hikes could shrink already thin margins or force them to pass the costs on to consumers, which could further cool spending. In fact, we're already seeing some of that tension play out on the customer side. A report from Chain Store Age highlights that shoppers are reacting quickly. Many are accelerating purchases now, trying to lock in pre-tariff pricing before the expected cost increases hit store shelves. That urgency contributed to a 1.4% increase in retail sales in March, possibly a short-term spike that could flatten or even drop off in the coming months. So, while March's spending bump might look good on paper, it could be more of a warning sign than a win. If these tariffs stay in place or expand, we could see a slowdown in Q2 and Q3 as prices rise and consumers tighten their belts. But it's not just U.S. customers who are reacting. In Canada, retailers have started labeling American goods with a big T, short for tariff. It's a move designed to let shoppers know when prices are higher because of U.S. policy. And the result is that more Canadians are actively seeking out locally made alternatives. There's a rise in patriotic spending, with customers saying they'd rather support Canadian businesses than pay extra for imported products. This growing emphasis on domestic sourcing could push some American brands to rethink how they approach international markets. And it's a sign that trade tensions don't just stay on paper. They play out in real-life decisions at the cash register. And here's another interesting development that shows how shoppers are adapting to these economic shifts. The resale market is booming. Particularly in clothing and home goods, people are increasingly turning to thrift stores, secondhand markets, and consignment apps. The reason? Tariffs are expected to significantly raise the cost of new apparel and leather products, so people are turning to resale to save money. Now you might be thinking, how does this relate to furniture? Well, the same logic applies. If furniture prices climb due to increased costs of materials or overseas production, we could see a growing market for gently used or vintage furniture. That might mean more competition for traditional retailers, but it also presents an opportunity. Businesses that can blend new products with a curated resale or trade-in program might be able to meet that need and attract more value-focused customers. All these stories are painting a clear picture. This is a season of change. Whether it's AI shaking up how we manage inventory, tariffs influencing both business strategy and consumer behavior, or the quiet rise of second-hand markets, the furniture industry is being pushed to adapt, and fast. So if you're a retailer, supplier, or part of the logistics side of the business, now's the time to stay sharp. Think about how technology might help you run leaner. Watch your pricing strategies closely, and don't underestimate how quickly consumers can shift their buying habits when they're feeling pressure from their wallets. That wraps it up for today's episode of Furniture Industry News. If this kind of update helps you stay in the loop, make sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. We'll keep bringing you the news that matters. No fluff, just what you need to stay ahead. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.